In the timeless realm of ancient Greece, where gods and titans shaped the very fabric of existence, there existed mighty beings known as the Titans. These primordial entities, towering in strength and wisdom, played pivotal roles in the cosmic order. Prominent among them was Prometheus, known not just for his lineage, but for his remarkable nature. A wise and compassionate spirit that set him apart from his kin. His heart was filled with an unwavering desire to see humanity rise above its primordial state, to witness mankind not just surviving, but thriving. Prometheus found himself often gazing down from Mount Olympus, where the magnificence of the heavens met the expanse of the earth. He watched as humans, frail and vulnerable, grappled with the harshness of life. They lived in perpetual darkness, unable to harness the power of fire, left to survive at the mercy of the elements. This sight tugged at Prometheus's resolve, for he empathized with their plight and recognized an unlit potential within them, a spark that needed kindling. It was here, on this mighty perch overlooking the world, that Prometheus's mission became clear: to gift humanity the light of knowledge, the warmth of fire. His desire to elevate humanity's existence became a flame within him, burning brightly against the constraints of divine will. He understood this fire, this knowledge, to be a double-edged sword, one that could enlighten but also destroy if mishandled. Yet his faith in humanity's capacity to grow and learn breathed life into his bold ambition. This inner drive, this yearning for progress, defined his very essence. It was not a mere rebellion against the gods, but a heartfelt belief in the potential of mortals. To shape this vision, Prometheus often conversed with his brother, Epimetheus, who shared the task of shaping mankind. Epimetheus, thoughtful yet impulsive, provided balance to Prometheus's calculated nature. In one of their contemplative discussions, Prometheus shared his insights on the potential that lay dormant within humans. Epimetheus, though cautious, was moved by his brother's vision, and together they considered what mankind might achieve with the gift of fire. Epimetheus, despite his occasional haste, saw the promise in Prometheus's plan. As night fell and the stars blanket the skies, Prometheus's plan took form. He knew well the risks of defying Zeus, the ruler of Olympus, whose unreceptive nature cast a long shadow over such an endeavor. But the shadows did not deter him. For Prometheus, the stakes, no less than the enlightenment of mankind, made the challenge worthwhile. Aware of the daring nature of his plan, he embraced the path, driven by the belief that this sacrifice could reshape the destiny of human beings forever. In this grand vision, fire was more than a mere element. It was a symbol of enlightenment, a beacon in the dark. It would grant humans the ability to forge, create, and express their perceptions, ultimately molding them into architects of their own fate. In fire, Prometheus saw the transformation of ignorance to wisdom, a flame of learning that could illuminate not just their surroundings, but their minds. As dawn touched the horizon with a golden hue, Prometheus felt the first inkling of defiance unfurl within him, a gentle rebellion brewing against the rigid order set by Zeus. He recognized the enormity of challenging the divine decree, yet his compassion for humanity and his unwavering belief in their potential fortified his resolve. Prometheus stood on the precipice of change, ready to challenge the heavens for the sake of those struggling below. Though the path he envisioned was fraught with peril, Prometheus found solace in the knowledge that great journeys often began not with certainties, but with the courage to walk amidst uncertainties. His determination was as steady as the dawn itself, a promise that the same sun rising could cast its warm golden glow upon a world enlightened by fire, a world where humanity could learn, create, and strive toward its potential. Upon the celestial peaks of Mount Olympus, Zeus sat with a regal yet imposing presence that spoke of unchallenged authority. As ruler of the gods, he commanded the heavenly realm with a firm hand. From his grand throne, bathed in the glow of silver and softened by the deep blues of the sky, Zeus surveyed his domain with a knowing gaze. Around him, symbols of divine power and immortality filled the air, reminders of his dominion over both gods and mortals alike. To Zeus, the mere mortals who trod the earth far below were deemed simple creatures, their lives fleeting and insignificant in the grand tapestry of existence. With their limited lifespans and fragile bodies, humans appeared as ants beneath his divine gaze, incapable of experiencing or wielding the powers that lay within his grasp. Zeus believed that such might was not meant for their hands, for the gifts of the gods, born from the realm of Olympus, were not to be shared frivolously with those unworthy of their potent influence. The grandeur of Olympus itself stood as a testament to absolute power, a citadel that separated the divine from the mundane world below. Majestic and eternal, it loomed over the earth like a mountain beyond mountains, its peaks shrouded in ethereal splendor. Here, amidst this celestial stronghold, the rules were unwavering, and Zeus had decreed that divine powers should remain isolated from humankind, guarding the sanctity of the godly plane. Prometheus, however, though among the Titans and not beholden to the whims of Olympus, felt a growing unrest in the face of Zeus's decrees. His compassion for the mortal realm and his brother Epimetheus's labor in shaping humanity filled him with doubt about the harshness of such divine boundaries. To Prometheus, the potential within the human spirit was boundless, a vessel ready to be filled with enlightenment and fire. Tension brewed as Prometheus's thoughts began to diverge more from Zeus's strict ideology, quietly yet profoundly. This defiance crystallized in Prometheus, who could no longer turn a blind eye to the stifling limitations placed upon mankind. Their struggles spoke to him, moved him in ways that Zeus's proclamations of order could not quell. He recognized in humans a spark that begged to be kindled, and it was a gift he yearned to bestow. In a rare moment of confrontation, Prometheus found himself in the daunting presence of Zeus, the towering Olympian, who warned against any challenge to divine command. Zeus cautioned with a thunderous resolve, declaring the futility of any defiance against his mandates. His words echoed through the sacred halls, each syllable promising consequences beyond the mortal imagination should anyone dare breach the heavenly edicts. Yet, beneath this powerful display, Prometheus's resolve remained unshaken. While Zeus's warnings were meant to sow fear and obedience, Prometheus knew too well the path he needed to tread. The wisdom of ages resided within him, and it fueled his dedication to the course he had chosen. And so, in quiet defiance, Prometheus held his silence, a muted challenge against the omnipotent might before him, his determination as firm as the eternal stones of Olympus. The struggle within Prometheus was not one of rebellion for power, but one of enlightenment for the others. He envisioned a world where humanity could thrive under the stars, guided by the same light that illuminated the heavens. Despite knowing the gravitas of Zeus's power and the terrifying fate that awaited those who crossed him, Prometheus's compassion for mankind emboldened him to remain steadfast. In these heights where thunder often echoed, Prometheus saw the potential for a quieter narrative, one where knowledge brought warmth, safety, understanding, and ultimately, light to those whom Zeus saw dismissed as inconsequential. This vision was the beacon guiding him, foretelling an audacious act of rebellion yet to unfold, a rebellion that would see him descend from these heights, carrying with him the torch of enlightenment. Against the shadows of ignorance, the die was cast, and Prometheus knew the path ahead, while fraught with peril, promised the embers of progress. Thus, with quiet reverence for the task before him, Prometheus looked toward the horizon where his destiny waited, and where humans, expectant of a brighter dawn, resided. Under the tranquil veil of night, the solemn echoes of Mount Olympus seemed far away as Prometheus set his daring plan into motion. This was the moment he had long stewarded in the depths of his heart, a secret ambition nestled beneath layers of contemplation and caution. Prometheus knew the risk that lay before him, the timeless conflict with Zeus that could only escalate. Yet, his compassionate nature and unyielding belief in humanity's potential drove him onward. Humanity, he believed, deserved more than their current state, fumbling in the dimness of ignorance without the vital warmth and illumination of fire. With a heart heavy with both hope and foreboding, Prometheus began his meticulous preparations. The task required stealth, for the eyes of Olympus were sharp, and the ears of Zeus even sharper. Prometheus crafted a hollow fennel stalk to house the sacred flame, a container both unassuming and ingeniously functional. The fennel, sturdy and hollow, would conceal and transport the fire from its divine origin to the mortal realm, bridging the gap between gods and men. As he worked, Prometheus's thoughts lingered on the transformative power of fire, its embers the embodiment of knowledge and change. The journey to Hephaestus's forge was fraught with shadows and the silent rustle of potential discovery. Prometheus moved like a whisper across the sacred grounds of Olympus, each step a defiance against the divine decree that sought to keep humanity in darkness. The forge itself was an awe-inspiring place, filled with the resonant sounds of creation, metal against metal, the breath of bellows feeding the ever-hungry flames. Here, the essence of fire was molded by the god of craftsmanship, yet tonight, it would serve a higher purpose. Prometheus approached the forge with reverence, the glow casting flickering shadows on his determined face. With careful hands, he reached into the heart of the flame, feeling its warmth spread through the fennel stalk like the first light of dawn. It was done. The theft was complete. The fire was his, and soon it would belong to humanity. Prometheus stood for a moment, absorbing the monumental significance of his actions, before retreating into the night, the glow of his prize sheltered by the shadows. Returning to Earth, Prometheus descended from Olympus with a sense of urgency and excitement that quickened his stride. The path back to the realm of man was one he had tread many times before, but never with such a precious cargo. As the world of mortals came into view, his heart brimmed with anticipation. He knew that this single act would alter the destiny of mankind, illuminating their path with the light of understanding and innovation. Upon reaching the realm of men, Prometheus wasted no time in sharing his divine bounty. He revealed the fire to humanity, its flames dancing with a life of their own, casting a brilliant light that dispelled the shroud of darkness. As the fire crackled, a newfound enlightenment touched the minds of men, igniting a spark of curiosity and the desire to learn. The once dim nights were now alive with the warmth and light of the sacred flame, a transformation that left the world forever changed. In the glow of their new gift, humanity expressed their joy and gratitude, their eyes filled with wonder and hope. Songs and praises were sung in honor of Prometheus, their benefactor, the titan who had defied the gods to bring them this miracle. This gratitude was a balm to Prometheus's heart, affirming his belief in the worthiness and potential of mankind. His sacrifice, though enormous, was one he bore gladly, knowing the far-reaching impact it would have. Yet even as joy abounded among mortals, a sense of inevitable consequence loomed over the horizon. Prometheus knew that Zeus, ever watchful and exacting, would not let this act of defiance go unchallenged. The heavens might soon thunder with his wrath, but for now, Prometheus embraced the warmth of humanity's gratitude, fortified by the knowledge that the fire of knowledge had been kindled and could never be extinguished. His gaze turned skyward, the stars twinkling with an ageless wisdom, and he prepared himself for whatever trials lay ahead. The path of defiance had set him on a solitary journey against the storm that was to come. But with the light of fire kindled in his heart, he accepted the consequences with resolve. Prometheus, the keeper of fire, awaited the dawn of retribution, knowing full well that his sacrifice was both a gift and his legacy. In the soft glow of twilight, a sense of warmth and optimism enveloped the ancient world as humanity began to harness the gift bestowed upon them. Prometheus had brought the sacred flame to earth, igniting not just wood and tinder but also the human spirit. Around these fires, men and women gathered, their faces illuminated by the golden light that held the promise of progress and enlightenment. As families and communities learned to use fire in their daily lives, a profound transformation unfolded. Cooked meals became possible, filling bellies and fortifying bodies, while the darkness and chill of night were pushed back, creating a sense of security and comfort. The crackling of the fire became the backdrop to the sharing of stories, traditions, and early wisdom, fostering connection and kinship among people. It was a simple yet potent symbol of the shift from survival to thriving, a beacon of human potential. The presence of fire opened a gateway to new thoughts and innovations. With warmth and light at their disposal, humans experimented with crafting tools and implements, their minds ablaze with curiosity. Artistic expressions took form as they began to etch symbols and images onto stone and bone, giving birth to primitive communication and shared memories. The once solitary flicker of enlightenment spread rapidly, like a blazing thread that wove communities together, encouraging them to envision their future collectively. Communities grew stronger, more structured, and ever more enlightened. Fire was not merely a tool, it was a catalyst for change. From the formidable glow of the central fires, the seeds of culture and civilization began to take root. Villages transformed into bustling centers where ideas were exchanged as eagerly as goods, each flame a hub from which knowledge spread like ripples in a pond. The shadows of ignorance began to recede, revealing a path marked by creativity and cooperation. Prometheus looked upon this transformation with a quiet sense of fulfillment. From the heavens, he observed as humanity embraced the light he had risked all to provide. Their progress was a testament to his enduring belief in their potential. He felt a profound sense of satisfaction watching communities flourish, the warmth of their fires a reflection of the enlightenment he sought to kindle within them. It was here, in these moments of clarity and growth, that Prometheus found solace, deeming his sacrifice worthwhile. Yet, beneath the surface of this newfound prosperity, subtle hints of Zeus's growing awareness began to form like storm clouds on the horizon. The king of the gods was not one to remain oblivious to such a monumental act of defiance. Unseen to the mortal eye, the balance of divine order teetered as Zeus's mind turned towards Prometheus, pondering the boldness of his actions. This awareness, though still fragile, hinted at the storm brewing as divine authority clashed with the Titan's gift of enlightenment. Still, humanity's focus remained firmly on the transformative power of fire. This shared enlightenment sparked creativity that knew no bounds. Artists, thinkers, and craftsmen emerged, each inspired by the light and warmth of the flames. The potential for human development and self-expression burgeoned as knowledge passed freely from generation to generation. The fire that Prometheus had given was more than mere warmth and light. It was the inception of a new era marked by discovery and understanding. Pioneering into dawn's early light, humanity stood on the cusp of uncharted opportunities. Each firelight gathering was a testament to their collective journey toward wisdom and innovation. The resilience and curiosity driving mankind were, after all, the ultimate homage to the courage and vision of Prometheus. Zeus's watchful eyes loomed over this young world, aware that the golden age of enlightenment would inevitably provoke a divine response. Yet for Prometheus and his mortal progeny, the dawn had broken with a promise, despite the ominous clouds gathering in Olympus. The path forged by the flame lay before them, an ember of defiance against fate's decree, beckoning them toward an uncertain yet vibrant future. As the embers of Prometheus's gift ignited hope and wisdom among mankind, the realm of the gods on Mount Olympus was about to stir with the stormy winds of retribution. Zeus, lord of the sky, whose gaze spanned the breadth of the world, became aware of the audacious act committed by Prometheus, a titan known for his wisdom and rebellious spirit. While humans basked in the newfound light of enlightenment, Zeus's brow furrowed with grim realization. Fire, a divine gift meant to be jealously guarded, was blazing on earth without his consent. The majestic council chamber of Olympus, often a calm place ruled by shimmering light, now pulsated with an undercurrent of tension as a tempest brewed outside. The gods were summoned to deliberate on the grievous theft. Zeus sat upon his lofty throne, his formidable presence casting an aura of authority and power that made the shadows of the room deepen. His voice, thunderous and commanding, echoed off the marble pillars as he recounted the violation by Prometheus. Each word was a decree of divine concern, vibrating with both disappointment and anger. Zeus's indignation grew as he considered how his sovereignty had been challenged. It was a matter of principle and power, his supremacy seeming sullied by a titan's defiance. This was no mere transgression, it was a challenge to the very order of the cosmos. Among the murmurs of the gods, Zeus contemplated the magnitude of Prometheus's actions. His fingers thrummed angrily on his staff, a rhythm matched only by the distant rumble of thunder signaling the brewing storm. Resolved to address this affront with severity, the Lord of Olympus decided upon a punishment that would be eternal and unforgettable. Injustice must be met with a retribution so profound that none would dare repeat it. The council of gods watched as Zeus, with eyes blazing like bolts of lightning, commanded Hermes, the fleet-footed messenger, to bring Prometheus before him. A quiet ripple of unease spread among the assembled, for they understood the gravity of this command. When Hermes reached Prometheus, the atmosphere darkened further. The patron of foresight met the summoning with poise, aware that the price for fire's freedom was now due. Taken to Olympus, Prometheus stood firm, his countenance one of serene defiance as he faced Zeus and his fellow gods. Here, on sacred grounds, amidst the watching eyes of immortals, Prometheus chose to defend his actions. For all that he had done, he believed it was for the greater good of humankind, to lift them from the shadows and empower them with wisdom. His words resonated with truth and courage, each statement a beacon of clarity amidst the storm. Yet, neither eloquence nor clarity could sway Zeus, whose soul was brimming with a sense of betrayal. To Zeus, Prometheus's decision had splintered the divine trust. It was a personal affront, a marked defection from the very order ordained by the king of gods. With a voice that echoed like thunderclaps, Zeus pronounced the decree of punishment that would bind the Titan in a cycle of unending torment. Prometheus, the defier, the wise giver of fire, was to endure agony beyond mortal comprehension. Zeus decreed that Prometheus would be chained to a desolate mountain, far removed from the world he sought to elevate. There, a great eagle would descend daily to devour his liver, only for it to regenerate each night, ensuring that his suffering would know no respite. This relentless agony would serve as a reminder to gods and mortals alike of the price of defying divine law. With the prophecy of his suffering firmly cemented in the firmament of Olympus, Prometheus' fate was sealed. Yet, beneath the heavy weight of the decree, there lingered a glimmer of unconquered spirit. Though bound by chains, Prometheus's confidence in his cause remained unbroken. His resolution was a testament to the enduring struggle between divine will and the light of innovation, sacrifice, and hope. As lightning crackled across the somber skies above Mount Olympus, Zeus's swift judgment set the stage for the trials and afflictions that would soon follow. A tempest raged outside, mirroring the turbulent scene within, setting the heavens alight with electric fury. It was a scene of ominous finality, yet one that also hinted at the enduring spirit that swells within the heart of rebellion and sacrifice. The atmosphere was hauntingly still as Hermes descended to the realm of mortals, carrying with him the weight of Zeus's decree. As the messenger of the gods, his journey had always been swift, but today, each step bore the gravity of a task he neither savored nor questioned. He arrived before Prometheus with no fanfare or heralding, knowing that the Titan had already anticipated this inevitable confrontation. Prometheus stood resolute, gazing into the vastness of the chaos he would soon endure, a stark contrast to the looming judgment bestowed upon him by the ruler of Olympus. The punishment decreed by Zeus was to be a perpetual symbol of power and defiance, enacted upon the stoic Prometheus. Hermes, bound by duty, delivered the first chains, a set crafted not of mere metal, but of the gods' immutable power, impervious to time or might. With a somber silence enveloping them, Prometheus was cast into a realm far removed from the divine glories of Olympus, the desolate and unforgiving Caucasus Mountains. These peaks, shrouded by icy blues and cold grays, were to be the backdrop of his endless torment, a stark contrast to the warmth of the fire he had gifted humanity. Prometheus was secured to a jagged rock, his body affixed by the unyielding chains, as unwavering as his spirit. This imprisonment was not merely a physical constraint, but a profound symbol of sacrifice, reflecting the tension between divine authority and defiant wisdom. Even as the bitter cold winds of this bleak winter assailed him, each link in the chain seemed to murmur the repercussions of his choices. The isolation of the mountain plateaued against the profound quiet, enforcing a solitude that only intensified the burden he bore. As dawn broke, ushering in a new cycle of torment, the skies above ushered in the dark figure of a giant eagle, an avian creature, unlike any other, born out of Zeus's resolve to enact suffering. This eagle, with its piercing eyes and formidable beak, was tasked with a grotesque ritual. It would feast upon Prometheus's liver. Every day, this torment unfolded, and every night, the liver would regenerate, revitalizing the cycle of pain with the dawn's light. Yet, Prometheus's gaze remained unbroken and unwavering, a silent protest that spoke volumes in the face of eternal agony. In this scene of enduring pain, the true essence of Prometheus shone without fanfare or lament. His defiance was not one of loud declarations, but of enduring spirit. It was a testament to his wisdom and strength, a resolve that neither pain nor isolation could diminish. The giant eagle, while an emissary of Zeus's wrath, was also a testament to the Titan's unyielding courage. Each piercing talon and beak mangling his flesh became a test of resolve, a defining boundary in the narrative of defiance and sacrifice. In the shadows of those cold, unfeeling peaks, Prometheus's spirit whispered in defiance. This silent revolt was broader than the mere physical constraint. It embodied the ideals of knowledge and progress. For Prometheus understood that in this cycle of suffering, his legacy was already interwoven into the fabric of humanity. The fire of knowledge had been kindled, and, no matter the agony endured, its light would continue to burn brightly across the mortal world, a warm glow in the darkness of ignorance. As time stretched into an unending expanse, the presence of pain intertwined with Prometheus' existence. Through every biting gust of wind, with every strike of the eagle's relentless beak, the Titan's spirit projected a testament of resilience and unyielding hope. Mountains, with their silent ancient witness, stood as a testament to his quiet strength, casting shadows on both the rock and the enduring greatness of the Titan's gift. The narrative was clear. While chains may bind the body, the spirit remained unshackled, whispering promises of enlightenment and defiance. As the sun's first rays cast a gilded light on the icy landscape, the scene spoke of an enduring struggle, a chain that bound not just body but a spirit that could never be silenced. And as the dawn welcomed back the cycle of torment, Prometheus's presence stood in eloquent silence, a beacon of the unyielding human spirit he so cherished. There, amidst the cold gray and icy blues, hope flickered quietly, echoing across eternity. In the isolated vastness of the Caucasus Mountains, Prometheus's story unfolded in an unbroken cycle of resilience and torment. Bound by unyielding chains to a rugged rock, he faced an enduring test, one defined by a daily torment that mirrored the passage of time itself. Each dawn brought the inevitable arrival of the giant eagle, a harbinger of pain, yet Prometheus bore his suffering with a silent dignity. Despite the excruciating torment inflicted as the eagle tore anew into his flesh each day, he remained steadfast, his spirit unbroken by the relentless cycle. The seasons shifted around him, adding a dynamic backdrop to his static plight. Spring whispered life back into the barren landscape, painting it in shades of budding green, only to be replaced by the vibrant warmth of summer. Autumn arrived with its golden hues, and eventually, the stark, icy grip of winter would encase the mountains once more. Prometheus was a constant in this kaleidoscope of change, his grim endurance untouched by the passage of time. Though his body remained bound, his mind wandered freely, finding moments of transcendence amid the enduring pain. Passing mortals began to regard Prometheus with reverence, aware of his sacrifice through cryptic tales that circulated in whispers. They saw in him a symbol of defiance and the flame of knowledge he had kindled within them. Sometimes in the quiet of dusk, these travelers would pause at a distance, their eyes speaking of honor and silent gratitude. In their gazes, Prometheus found fleeting camaraderie, a connection that bridged his isolation with the realm of men. With years passing, Prometheus's thoughts drifted often to the nature of his sacrifice. In his silent reflection, he unraveled the threads of wisdom woven into his act of defiance. It was not merely fire he had gifted humanity, but the spark of enlightenment itself, a beacon of awareness and awakening. This understanding granted him solace, a clarity that transformed his suffering into a tapestry of purpose woven throughout eternity. It reminded him that the agony he endured had not been in vain, but rather a crucible from which humanity's splendor was born. The mountains, ancient and knowing, stood as eternal witnesses to his endurance. Their towering peaks and unseen valleys formed a silent choir, echoing his fortitude through their enduring presence. As day bled into night and night receded into dawn, these mountains seemed almost to breathe alongside him, adopting his tale as a chapter in their own timeless narrative. The spirits of nature embraced his resolve, the winds softly threading cryptic hope into the air around him, a constant reminder that even the most immutable bounds might one day be broken. Nature itself communicated in subtle, mysterious ways, offering hints of hope that mirrored Prometheus's silent resolve. As the sun rose and set, patterns and symbols danced in the natural elements, speaking of renewal and the enduring human spirit. Through the rustle of leaves and the whisper of the winds, the world around Prometheus murmured promises of change and liberation, cryptic messages shrouded in the language of the natural world. These moments served as gentle assurances, suggesting that his suffering was not without end, that an eventual release was as much a part of destiny as his current torment. With each day, Prometheus fostered a quiet, unwavering hope. He held steadfast in his belief in humanity's potential and his own eventual prophecy of freedom. Though silence enveloped his world, it was not one of despair but of meditative anticipation, an awareness of the infinite possibilities lying ahead. And so, amid the relentless cycle of suffering, Prometheus nurtured the seeds of hope, seeds that would one day flourish into the prophecy of his liberation, breathing new light upon the world he had once defied the gods to enlighten. Through this endless vigil, the idea of eventual release spoke to him as a future unwritten, hinting at a time when chains might loosen and new dawn might rise. His unspoken belief in the inevitable turning of fate served as a beacon, guiding him through the dark hours of his confinement. The promise of a prophecy whispered subtly in the air, a prophecy that foretold of a hero to come, a harbinger of change that Prometheus, in his silent endurance, awaited with a patience born of necessity and hope. In the wake of Prometheus's daring act, a world once shrouded in shadow blossomed with newfound brilliance. The sacred fire, the gift of a compassionate titan, became a symbol of illumination for mankind. It was more than a mere tool. It was a beacon, awakening a dormant potential within the human spirit. The flames of Prometheus's gift did not merely warm the bodies of humans. They kindled the fires of innovation and ambition that lay dormant in the hearts of all. Villages transformed into thriving hubs of activity, their nights now alive with the flickering dance of firelight, echoing the spirit of human resilience and creativity. With fire came the birth of arts and sciences, as humans began to harness its power in ways that transcended mere survival. The warmth of the fire nurtured the seeds of curiosity, spurring the mind to explore realms of possibility hitherto unseen. Clay pots, once crude and fragile, were now hardened and refined, serving artisans and expressing visions carved deep within their souls. Metals were coaxed from the reluctant earth, their alchemical secrets unraveling into tools and weapons that would alter the course of entire civilizations. Through trial and error, humanity learned, adapted, and thrived, each flicker of fire an inspiration, each spark a promise of progress. As communities burgeoned into complex cultures, the newfound knowledge led to societal transformations. Roles within tribes evolved, collaboration became key, and with it came the early whispers of justice and equality. Guided by the gift of fire, humans began to craft rudimentary systems of governance, with laws echoing the principles of fairness and equity that echoed the ideals Prometheus had envisioned. The fire allowed for the gathering of greater communities, rituals were born, and traditions were passed down with tales of the great titan who had dared to defy the gods for their sake. Prometheus's influence was deeply woven into the very fabric of human existence, elevating the human condition towards paths of enlightenment and understanding. With the light came insight into the cosmos, and soon humans began to understand their place within it. Astronomy took shape, as eyes turned from the earthly flames towards the heavens, tracing constellations and attempting to decipher the messages of the stars. Mathematics and philosophy ignited, with thinkers pondering existence and seeking truths that lay beyond the immediacy of the tangible. Thus, the legacy of Prometheus extended far beyond the tangible gifts of warmth and light. Among mortals, he was immortalized through story and song. His tale told at countless hearths, his spirit revered as time's unyielding guardian. Gleemen and poets sang of his defiance, spinning his saga into a tapestry that unfurled across generations. In honoring Prometheus, humans celebrated all that he stood for: courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of enlightenment, paying homage to the Titan not just as a figure of myth, but as eternal patron of human progress. Fire's enlightenment fostered great strides in creativity among humans, catalyzing their art and literature. Painters, sculptors, and storytellers drew from the ethereal flames of inspiration, creating works that echoed the ideals of freedom and discovery that Prometheus embodied. In every fresco, every epic poem, his spirit whispered of endless possibilities and unyielding hope. This burgeoning creativity was mirrored in acts of ingenious craftsmanship and architectural feats, as humans pushed the boundaries of what was possible, sculpting the world in images that reflected their newfound inner light. As the ages passed, human resilience and ingenuity flourished against the backdrop of challenges and triumphs. With each innovation and discovery, the spirit of Prometheus lived on, growing stronger in the hearts of those who dared to push beyond the known and step into the light. Celebrations erupted across the flourishing cityscapes, marking the triumph of human will over the darkness that had once constrained it. These were celebrations of survival and success, testament to a saga that intertwined divine descent with human ascension. And though Prometheus remained bound to the cold stone of the Caucasus, his mind and spirit roamed free, witnessing the awakening he had ignited. The silent mountains were alive with echoes of the distant cities teeming with life, each a testament to the endurance and audacity of human potential. The Titan, despite the chains that held him, found solace in the enduring legacy of his gift, a light that would never flicker out, a boon to the human spirit that would forever blaze across the fabric of time. Quietly, within the cycles of his perpetual ordeal, the promise of change stirred. The whispers of prophecy lingered, entwined with hopes that warned of coming shifts, a herald of the dawn when destiny would finally break the chains of the enduring Titan. In the expansive canopy of Mount Olympus, a delicate stir of foreboding began to ripple among the gods. Zeus, perched upon his opulent throne, felt a restless whisper of prophecy weaving through the sacred halls. Despite his firm grip on the cosmos, the echo of Prometheus's foretelling threaded a cautious unease into the divine domain. Whispers of a freedom not wrought by Olympus, but by forces obscure and laden with destiny, began to circulate, a potential release foretold in ancient script that left even the mighty king wary of what might unfold. The gods gathered, their luminescent presence casting long shadows upon the polished marble floors as they engaged in hushed deliberation. The focus of their discussion settled on Prometheus and the tale inscribed upon the winds and waters, a foretelling that hinted at liberation through a mortal hero's deeds. Zeus's voice, resonant and commanding, cut through the gathered murmurs, expressing his resolute stance against any possibility that might unravel the order he'd forged. Yet behind his authoritative gaze lay a sliver of discomfort, an acknowledgement that fate might bear its purpose beyond Olympian decrees. Even as the gods mulled the risks, Prometheus remained vigilant upon his rocky perch, bound in chains yet unfettered in spirit. The Titan's gaze was not cast solely upon his suffering, but gazed beyond, towards a horizon sketched in prophecies of freedom. Within his solitude lay a profound clarity, a comprehension of the cosmic narratives that would unravel through time. Among these was the potential arrival of Heracles, the son of Zeus, who by virtue of mortal struggle might one day sever the chain holding the Titan captive. In quiet moments, glimpses of tomorrow unfurled before Prometheus like gentle whispers of the breeze caressing the weary. His foresight whispered of a tide yet to rise, providing him with a rare solace amid enduring torment. Each week, the cycle of his renewing torment mirrored the promise that lay nestled in ancient prophecy. It was this recurring renewal, a momentary easing of anguish, that reaffirmed the faith he invested in hope, soldiering strength to the sinew of his resolve. Despite his physical confinement, the vision of future liberation became the lantern guiding patience in the deep caverns of his suffering. Amid these celestial ponderings, ripples of discontent spread across the earthly expanse below. Mortals, cradling the fire of knowledge gifted by Prometheus, began murmuring with growing fervor against the omnipotence of Zeus. Firesides glowed with tales of the Titan's sacrifice, fueling a quiet revolution of thought. Prometheus's endurance served as an emblem of resilience, the vitality of spirit, that emboldened humans to question and strive, to create a world reflecting not just the gods' whims, but human ingenuity and valor. With time, the prophecy became an undercurrent tugging discreetly yet persistently at fates, intertwining the destinies of both mortals and gods. Echoes of imminent metamorphosis slipped into sacred texts, weaving a subtle tapestry of inexorable change. As these words took root in murmurings and myths, they painted a vivid tableau of an era where mankind might stand shoulder to shoulder with the divine, wielding the light of wisdom forged in him. Kindness and courage, a beacon against the shadows of tyranny. Ultimately, the prophecies inscribed within the temple walls hinted with gentle assurance at the changing tides. Here, among the dim luminescence of twilight, Prometheus's spirit conversed with the etched writings, sacred symbols throbbing with roomy glow under a canopy of fading daylight. Each stroke in the ancient runes breathed the narrative of hope and redemption, a chronicle that whispered of Heracles' destined path, where strength and wisdom might unravel the very chains binding Prometheus, heralding a new dawn not only for him, but for all who dreamed boldly. As the sun dipped beyond the Olympian horizon, illuminating the temple scripts with a soft golden glow, the chorus of foretellings unfurled like an unbroken melody, resonating through the cosmos. In these moments, the promise of a future different from the present whispered to both those who dwelled in the heavens and those who walked the earth. Embedded within these hallowed prophecies was a seed of change, a burgeoning hope, whose roots wound deep into the heart of Olympus and beyond, foreshadowing a destiny where the strength of heroes and the resilience of titans might intertwine in an unyielding bond of triumph and renewal. As twilight descended gently over the heavens, the temple fell into serene contemplation, leaving behind the rustle of ancient prophecies to echo softly against the star-dappled sky. It was a world on the precipice of transformation, vibrating with the silent promises of change that would reach out to touch both mortal hearts and immortal destinies with a gentle yet relentless persistence. In the quiet dawn of an awakening spring, the scent of change lay heavy in the air, as Heracles, the mighty hero of legend, embarked on a journey that would echo through the ages. His name carried weight not only among mortals but also in the whispers of the gods, for it was believed that he would play a pivotal role in the unfolding prophecy concerning Prometheus, besieged titan of foresight and rebellion. As Heracles traversed the rugged paths of the Caucasus Mountains, each step resonated with purpose and a sense of preordained destiny. Heracles was no stranger to arduous tasks. His labors were renowned across the realm, and the gods themselves had acknowledged him with challenges only the bravest could undertake. Yet, as he ascended the steep terrain, there was a quiet reverence in his heart. His strength was not just for overcoming monsters or fulfilling tasks, but for righteous intervention where the balance of justice called for his reckoning. The sun crept over the horizon, bathing the mountains in rustic orange and heroic hues, as if lending its approval to the journey and the dawn of a new era. At last Heracles reached the desolate peak where Prometheus endured endless torment. Throughout the years, Prometheus's unyielding spirit, nourished by foresight, had drawn the admiration of countless mortals who knew of his sacrifice. His chained figure, though ravaged by suffering, maintained a grandeur intrinsic to his rebellion, a testament to defiance and the fervent desire to enlighten humanity. Heracles observed the Titan's silent vigil, recognizing the profound wisdom etched within Prometheus's gaze, reflecting centuries of endurance with silent dignity. As he stood before Prometheus, Heracles contemplated the gravity of his sight. Here was a figure whose actions shifted the arc of human existence, giving to mankind the vibrant gift of fire, knowledge, and progress. The suffering that Zeus had inflicted upon Prometheus was severe, yet the Titan's inner fire remained undiminished. In that moment, Heracles felt the weight of legacy and the silent screams of many who longed for the dawn of enlightenment. Despite the constraints laid upon him, It was Prometheus's spirit that endured, a reminder that even the shackles of injustice could not quench the flames of enlightenment. When Heracles spoke, it was not of sadness but of strategy and liberation, for he had deciphered the lines of ancient prophecies. The words inscribed in the temples of old whispered to him of this destined meeting and the freedom that awaited Prometheus through acts of valor. This knowledge, entrusted by the fates and preserved in the heartbeats of every mortal who thrived by the light of fire, guided Heracles toward his role in the narrative. He knew this was not a task of mere heroic stature. It was one shrouded in the reverent silence of myth itself. Heracles found strength in marveling at the progress humanity had achieved, owing to Prometheus's gift, realizing that every spark of creation, every act of learning, was an echo of that divine. Rebellion. Human civilizations blossomed under the warm glow of the fire. Arts, sciences, and cultures, all had taken root in the fertile grounds Prometheus had nurtured. Heracles witnessed this evolution, not just as feats of human potential, but as milestones of Prometheus' enduring legacy. The realization imbued Heracles with a fervent determination to see the Titan freed, to rectify a cosmic injustice. With steadfast resolve, Heracles began strategizing Prometheus's liberation, devising a plan as intricate and unyielding as the iron chains that bound the Titan. This was no impulsive rescue. It was calculated, aware of the grand orchestration of prophesied destiny that led him to this pivotal point. Heracles understood the risks and the opposition he might face, yet the spirit of justice and the call for change coursed through him with a vigor that could not be subdued. His mind was set. There would be no turning back from the path he was now on. Determination etched in every sinew, Heracles prepared himself not only physically but also spiritually, for this journey was about more than physical release. It was about setting alight the flame of justice to guide the gods and mankind away from the oppressive shadows cast by unscrupulous power. He knew that by freeing Prometheus, the equilibrium would irrevocably change, offering hope that art and enlightenment might flourish unfettered, an enduring light born from the union of courage and insight. In the tranquil yet potent silence of the mountains, Heracles stood resolute, a harbinger of renewal and justice. He would not rest until chains gave way to freedom, until the hero met the need of the age, and until a new chapter could begin for both gods and mortals. With Prometheus's release, there would be more than liberation. There would be rebirth, a heralding of times where knowledge and power walked hand in hand under the benevolent gaze of a newly balanced cosmic order. The hero was ready. Soon the world would witness the dawn of change beyond the hills and beyond the heavens. In the early light of a fresh morning, the Caucasus Mountains stood silent witness to the unfolding momentous event. Heracles, resolute and brave, approached the rocky prison where Prometheus had been bound for endless ages. The majestic peaks of the mountains, still cloaked in the remnants of night mist, offered no resistance to the hero who had journeyed through innumerable trials, guided by prophecy. The chains that held the Titan were stark and unyielding, yet hope lingered in the air like a fresh breeze. It was a hope that Heracles bore like a flame, passed through generations as a symbol of inevitable change and renewal. The giant eagle, emblematic of Zeus's relentless wrath, descended upon its daily torment. Though fierce in its approach, it faltered before the presence of Heracles, a hero enshrined by divine strength and driven by destiny. With a mighty swing of his bow, Heracles confronted the bird of prey, its feathers a stark contrast against the brilliant blues of the morning sky. A clash ensued, the air vibrating with the sound of struggle as Heracles fought valiantly against the embodiment of Zeus's vengeance. With precision and valor, Heracles' arrow pierced the eagle, sending it tumbling from the heavens, subdued at last. The echo of the victorious cry of the eagle's defeat resonated among the peaks as Heracles turned his attention to the shackles that bound Prometheus. Iron creaked and groaned as Heracles applied his prodigious strength, each link representing centuries of Prometheus's endurance and suffering. As the chain shattered, a new light seemed to kindle within Prometheus, one not only of physical liberation, but also of renewed purpose. The freeing of Prometheus was more than a release. It was a triumph that heralded the dawn of hope for mankind. In the clarity of the morning, the world shifted subtly, making space for the new possibilities that Prometheus's release heralded. High atop Olympus, Zeus watched the unfolding events with a blend of reluctance and resignation. The fulfillment of ancient prophecy left no room for his resistance against destiny. In this reluctant acceptance lay the god's acknowledgement of the cosmic order's perpetual motion. Zeus, acknowledging the necessity of change, marked this moment not with fury, but with an awareness that the old ways would inevitably give rise to new beginnings. For Prometheus, liberation was a testament to endurance and defiance. He stood taller and looked to Heracles with profound gratitude. Though the scars of his sacrifice would remain forever etched upon his spirit, the bond forged between him and Heracles became a beacon of unity and understanding. In their shared glances, there lay a silent acknowledgement of the struggles endured and the victories won, not just for themselves, but for all those who tread the path of enlightenment. As news of this monumental act spread across the lands, Heracles was celebrated not only as a hero of exceptional strength, but also as a bringer of justice and renewal. His actions were woven into the tapestry of human legends, forever preserving the tale of courage and compassion that transcended the boundaries set by gods. The echoes of his deed resounded in the words of storytellers, inspiring generations to come. Prometheus, though free, remained a symbol of the cycle of struggle and renewal. His story, a reminder of the power of knowledge and the importance of sacrifice, was woven into the spirit of humanity. The light of enlightenment, once kindled by his hands, continued to burn brightly across the earth, pushing the boundaries of human understanding and creativity. In this way, the ancient cycle of defiance and resilience continued. Though the throne of Olympus stood unchanged, the realm below flourished with renewed vigor. Heracles and Prometheus, two figures bound by fate, exemplified the enduring spirit of change and transformation. Their story, echoing through the ages, became a testament to the eternal struggle for enlightenment and justice, as the world cast its gaze towards a future illuminated by new light. As the night unfolded over the timeless Caucasus Mountains, Prometheus found himself in quiet contemplation. His eternal struggle was now behind him, yet the echoes of sacrifice reverberated in his mind. The chains that had once bound him lay broken, not just in steel but in the soul-crushing trappings of suffering they represented. Freed, his thoughts turned inward to the meaning of all he had endured and the legacy of his defiance against the might of Zeus. Prometheus's gaze stretched out over the expanse of human civilization. There, below him, countless small fires dotted the earth like stars fallen to the ground, each flame a testament to the progress humanity had made. These fires, gifts from his rebellion, transformed human existence. No longer did mortals cower in fear before the darkness. They embraced it, illuminating it with the light of knowledge and the warmth of innovation. The very essence of what it meant to be human had fundamentally changed, and in those flames he saw an enduring testament to his spirit. He reflected on the wisdom imparted through his gift. Fire had ignited mankind's capacity for creativity, the arts and sciences, nurturing a civilization where ideas could flourish unbounded. The knowledge that had kindled from those first sacred flames burned brighter in the hearts and minds of men, carrying forth his ultimate gift, the pursuit of wisdom and enlightenment. The fire he had bravely bestowed upon mankind had not merely advanced the human condition. It had deeply enriched it, creating bridges to infinity. Prometheus understood that while his physical presence among humans might dwindle, his spirit would perpetuate through them. Humanity would forever carry the spark he ignited, intertwined with the courage and resilience that had come to define their existence. Through tales told and legends passed down, his story would remain timeless, a guiding light for future generations. Prometheus's presence would endure in every act of defiance against tyranny, every leap towards innovation, and every embrace of the unknown. In this manner, he would remain among them, a silent guardian of the quest for knowledge. In the silence beneath the starlit skies, Prometheus sensed an unending tapestry of gratitude woven among the people. They honored him not just as a titan who defied the gods, but as a bringer of enlightenment, whose sacrifice had carved the path to a better future. Through rituals and traditions, they marked his influence on human history, ensuring it would never be forgotten. Prometheus was comforted to know that his struggles had fostered a profound respect among mortals, entwining his essence with their daily lives. The harmony achieved through defiance, sacrifice, and knowledge was undeniable. These elements formed an intricate dance that wove through human existence, uniting past and present, linking each action with a greater purpose. Prometheus knew that his defiant act had not merely been against Zeus, but had enabled humanity to redefine its destiny. Heartfelt silence encompassed the fields where light subdued darkness, echoing the equilibrium that now resided in human consciousness. As the night shimmered with an eternal light, a serene close enveloped the landscape, a fitting tribute to Prometheus's enduring spirit. The gentle flicker of countless fires reflected an undying cycle of challenge and enlightenment, whispering to the stars of harmony and hope. It was a reminder that despite every struggle, learning and growth would always prevail, carrying humankind onward through the ages. Prometheus's heart swelled with quiet pride, knowing his purpose had been fulfilled, yet the journey continued. Thus the world awaited a new dawn, the fires keeping the night at bay. Prometheus's legacy lived on, a beacon amid the starlit sky, ensuring that knowledge would forever light the path forward.